In 1990, a tearful 15-year-old girl testified before the US Congress. She claimed Iraqi soldiers were taking babies out of incubators and leaving them to die. The story exploded worldwide. It shaped public opinion. It helped justify a war. But there was one problem. It wasn't true. The girl wasn't a nurse. She was the daughter of a Kuwaiti ambassador coached by a PR firm. This wasn't misinformation. This was state-level manipulation, precise, emotional, psychological. And it wasn't the first time a nation shaped reality, or the last. Because for decades, countries have used advanced psychological tactics to make millions of citizens doubt their own perception. Today, we break down how they do it, how nations gaslight their citizens, a guide to modern propaganda. Governments have always used persuasion. But modern propaganda? It's something entirely different. It's scientific, it's psychological, and most terrifying of all, it doesn't try to control what you think, it tries to control what you question. Today, we're decoding the 5-step propaganda playbook, a system born in the Cold War, perfected online, and now powerful enough to rewrite national reality. At the end of this video, you'll discover the most dangerous part of modern propaganda, the part that works even when you know it exists. Stay till the end. The playbook begins. Fear. Every propaganda system begins with a single psychological lever, FEAR. Fear shuts down critical thinking. Fear builds dependence. Fear makes complex problems feel simple. During the Cold War, both sides used fear strategically. Nuclear annihilation, communist infiltration, capitalist corruption, spies everywhere. Fear wasn't the message. Fear was the environment in which messages became unquestionable. And here's where the gaslighting begins. If you control what people fear, you control how they interpret reality. Today, governments don't need tanks. They need fear triggers, a threat, a crisis, a scapegoat. Once fear is installed, the population becomes psychologically primed for step 2. Information overload. Old propaganda repeated one message. Modern propaganda does the opposite. It floods you. Too many stories, too many crises, too many contradictions. This tactic was born during the Cold War, when Soviet strategists discovered something unexpected. If citizens hear more information than they can process, they stop caring about what's true. This is called cognitive overload. And governments learned that. Confused people don't rebel, they disengage. Today, it's far worse. Dozens of news cycles per day, social media hysteria, micro-targeted narratives, emotionally engineered headlines. The goal isn't to hide the truth, it's to bury it. Because when everything feels chaotic, anything can be framed as stable. Controlled opposition. Here's a tactic few people recognize. Give the population an enemy, but one you secretly control. This is called controlled opposition, and it's one of the most effective gaslighting tools nations use. It creates a fake sense of debate, a fake sense of choice, a fake sense of accountability. During the Cold War, both the US and USSR supported acceptable critics. Newspapers were allowed to disagree, within limits. Opposition parties existed, but rarely had power. Why? Because controlled critics are safer than real ones. This trick still exists today. Governments amplify influences they can handle. They tolerate certain protests. They promote critics who criticize everything except the core system. Citizens feel heard, but nothing changes. That's gaslighting on a national scale. Identity engineering. Now we enter the most emotional layer, identity. Cold War psychologists discovered something terrifying. If you can control someone's identity, you don't need to control their logic. Identity overrides facts. This is why national propaganda focuses on who we are, who the enemy is, what a patriot looks like, what a traitor looks like. Once identity is triggered, citizens defend the propaganda themselves. This is why people argue online not for truth, but for tribe. Governments don't need to silence you. They just need to make you identify with their narrative. Because if questioning the government feels like betraying your tribe, you'll never question it The final evolution. Personalized reality. This is where propaganda becomes almost unstoppable. It's no longer mass messaging, it's algorithmic gaslighting. During the Cold War, one message went to millions. Today, one narrative is broken into a million versions, each psychologically engineered for a specific type of citizen. A fearful citizen receives security-focused messaging. An angry citizen receives blame-focused messaging. A confused citizen receives simplified narratives. A patriotic citizen receives identity-reinforcing content. Propaganda no longer feels external. It feels personal, not forced, not suspicious, just familiar. This is why modern propaganda is disturbingly powerful. You don't think the government told me this. You think I figured this out on my own. That's the final stage of national gaslighting, the invisible trick. Most people make one mistake when thinking about propaganda. They assume its goal is to make you believe a lie. But modern propaganda has a different objective. It wants you to be unsure what to believe. Because a confused population is predictable, a divided population is manageable, and a hopeless population is controllable. When truth feels impossible to find, people stop looking. That's the real danger. Propaganda didn't disappear after the Cold War. It evolved, it adapted, and now it hides inside your feed, your fears, and your identity. Recognizing it doesn't make you paranoid. It makes you free. If you want more deep dives into psychology, geopolitics, and the hidden strategies of power, subscribe. Because the real story behind influence is only just beginning.